Have you ever wondered why miracles seem to happen so effortlessly for some, while others find themselves struggling to see any divine intervention at all? Could it be that there's more to the story than meets the eye, something hidden in plain sight for centuries? What if the true secret to miracles lies not just in faith, but in a deep, unseen connection between the human soul and the divine forces that guide us? In this video, we're about to uncover a powerful truth that has been quietly working in the background of every miraculous moment. Together, we will explore the hidden forces, the 72 spiritual energies that have been shaping the world in ways you might never have imagined. These divine beings, not commonly discussed, have been present throughout history, working in alignment with the will of God to bring forth healing, transformation, and power. You'll learn how these unseen spiritual forces are intricately woven into every miracle Jesus performed, and how you too can tap into their power to transform your life. We'll break down the mysteries of how these energies have been guiding and protecting us from the beginning of time, waiting for us to acknowledge them and invite them into our lives. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper understanding of why these divine forces are just as relevant today as they were in biblical times. How can they help you? What role do they play in shaping your destiny even now? Let's dive in and explore the divine partnership that can change everything. The silence before the miracle, embracing the sacred pause. Before every miracle Jesus performed, there was a moment of profound silence. Imagine the scene. The crowds are waiting, anticipation fills the air, and yet, before he acts, there is a deep, sacred pause. This silence is not the absence of sound, but a powerful divine space where all things align. It's in this stillness that the forces of heaven and earth prepare to meet. Too often, we overlook this quiet before the storm of the miraculous, but in reality, this silence is where everything begins. Think about the moment Jesus prepares to feed the 5,000 with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. There's a brief pause before he blesses the food. In that pause, the unseen forces of the divine are already at work. It wasn't just Jesus' will that multiplied the food. It was a collaboration between him and the divine energies that surrounded him. The 72 spirits from the Kabbalah tradition, these living energies were present, aligning with his intentions, making the miracle possible. This is not just a story from the past, it's a reminder that in every moment of silence, divine forces are at work, preparing us for what's to come. This lesson is profound. Silence is not a void. It is a sacred preparation for what is about to unfold. It's in these moments of stillness that the universe is aligning, getting ready to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. How often do we overlook the quiet moments in our lives, believing that nothing is happening? In reality, these pauses are filled with potential. When we allow ourselves to embrace silence, we are allowing the divine to work in us and through us. The next time you find yourself in a moment of stillness, whether it's before a big decision or in the midst of chaos, remember that it is not an empty space. It is a sacred pause, a divine preparation for the miracles that are about to unfold. Embrace it, for in the silence, the universe is aligning the forces around you. The 72 spirits, divine forces in action. As we look deeper into the miracles of Jesus, we must recognize that he was not alone in these acts. There were 72 divine spirits named in the Kabbalah tradition who worked alongside him. These were not just abstract concepts or names, they were powerful, living energies that assisted Jesus in performing the miracles we read about in the Gospels. They weren't mere onlookers, they were active participants in the divine acts that shaped the world. These spirits worked in harmony with Jesus, amplifying his power and helping to manifest the divine will. When Jesus healed the blind or cast out demons, It wasn't just his power at work. These 72 spirits were involved, working through him to bring about the miraculous. They were the unseen hands that guided his actions, the energies that helped him to transform lives. And these spirits are still available to us today. They are not bound by time or space. They are present, ready to assist us if we align ourselves with them. The key here is that Jesus didn't call on these spirits as separate entities. He lived in perfect harmony with them. His every word, every action was in alignment with the divine energy that these spirits embodied. He didn't need to invoke their power consciously. They were simply part of who he was. In the same way, we can connect with these divine energies. They are not distant or unreachable. They are always present, waiting for us to recognize them and align ourselves with their power. When we learn to connect with the divine, to align ourselves with these spiritual forces, we begin to experience the same kind of miracles in our own lives. These spirits are not just reserved for the pages of Scripture. They are here, now, waiting for us to tap into their power. Through quiet moments of reflection, through prayer, through stillness, we can invite these forces into our lives. The miracles that Jesus performed were not the result of his own power alone. They were the result of his deep connection to the divine forces that surrounded him. This is a powerful reminder that we are not alone. The same forces that helped Jesus to heal the sick, raise the dead, and multiply the loaves and fishes are available to us. But we must be open to them. We must align ourselves with these energies and invite them to work through us. The key is not just to believe, but to recognize that we are part of a larger divine plan. We are co-creators with the universe, and when we align ourselves with the divine, we too can experience the miracles that Jesus demonstrated. The lesson here is clear. We are not isolated. We are connected to a vast network of divine energies waiting to assist us in our journey. When we tap into these forces, we begin to see the world in a new light. We begin to realize that the miracles we seek are not as far away as we think. They are right here, in the silence, in the stillness, in the moments when we align ourselves with the divine. We are part of a divine orchestra, and when we live in harmony with the spiritual forces around us, we can experience the miracles that Jesus experienced. So, when you are faced with a challenge or a moment of uncertainty, remember that you are not alone. The 72 spirits, the divine energies, are available to you. They are waiting to work through you, to help you bring about the miracles you seek. All you need to do is align yourself with them and trust that the universe is working on your behalf. The silence and the spirits, living in alignment. The story of Jesus' miracles is not just a tale of divine power. It is a story of alignment. Jesus didn't perform miracles by his own strength alone. He lived in perfect harmony with the divine forces that surrounded him. He aligned himself with the spiritual energies of the universe, and in doing so, he was able to perform miracles that defied the laws of nature. This is a powerful lesson for us all. When we align ourselves with the divine, when we open ourselves to the spiritual forces around us, we too can experience the miracles that we so often seek. But this alignment is not always easy. It requires patience, trust, and an openness to the unseen forces that work in our lives. In a world that often values the tangible and the measurable, it can be difficult to trust in something we cannot see. Yet, it is in the unseen that the greatest miracles happen. Just as Jesus worked in perfect alignment with the 72 spirits, we too must learn to align ourselves with the divine forces that surround us. It is through this alignment that we find peace, healing, and transformation. As we continue on this journey, let us remember that silence is not a void. It is a space of divine preparation, where the forces of the universe are aligning to bring forth the miracles we seek. Let us also remember that we are not alone in this journey. The 72 spirits, the divine energies, are always with us, ready to assist us. All we need to do is align ourselves with them and trust that the universe is working for our highest good. The path to miracles is not one of isolation, but one of alignment. When we live in harmony with the divine, when we allow the unseen forces to work through us, we become co-creators with the universe. And in this divine partnership, the impossible becomes possible. The relationship between Jesus and the spirits, a divine harmony. Jesus' miracles were not simply acts of power. They were the result of a deep divine partnership, a partnership not just between him and his Father, but also between him and the 72 spiritual forces that aligned with his divine will. These spiritual entities were not separate from Jesus, but instead were integrated into his very being, working alongside him to bring about the healing and miracles that we witness in the Scriptures. It was not that Jesus merely commanded these spirits, rather he lived in harmony with them, allowing them to flow through him in perfect unity. Think about the time when Jesus healed the blind man. It wasn't just the spoken word of Jesus that caused the man to see again, but the simultaneous presence of these divine energies, working in perfect synchronization with him. This cooperation between Jesus and the spirits was not something external, something he had to consciously call upon in each moment. Instead, it was an inherent part of his existence. Jesus was a vessel for the divine, perfectly attuned to the unseen forces of the universe. Through him, these forces could act in the world, manifesting healing, transformation, and miracles. This lesson teaches us something profound about our own lives. We are not alone in the challenges we face. Just as Jesus was in harmony with the 72 spirits, we too are surrounded by divine energies. These forces may not always be visible to us, but they are there, ready to assist us, to guide us, and to help us bring about the changes we seek. The key is to live in harmony with them. When we align ourselves with these forces, when we open our hearts to the divine, miracles begin to unfold in our lives. The story of Jesus' healing of the blind man is a perfect example of how these forces work in unison. It wasn't just Jesus' will that brought about the healing, it was the harmony between his spirit and the spirits that worked through him. This unity allowed for the miraculous act to occur, and this is something that is available to us as well. When we live in alignment with the divine, when we recognize that we are not separate from the forces that created the world, we too can experience miracles in our lives. This divine harmony between Jesus and the 72 spirits is not a distant concept. It is something that is available to each of us right now. Just as Jesus was a vessel for these forces, we too can become vessels for divine energy. We can open ourselves to the presence of these spiritual forces, allowing them to work through us, to heal, protect, and guide us. The key is to align our will with the divine, to live in harmony with the universe, and to trust that these forces are always present, always ready to assist us. The miracles as a divine symphony. Unseen forces in action. The miracles that Jesus performed were not random acts of divine intervention. They were part of a larger divine symphony, orchestrated by the unseen forces of the universe. Each miracle, whether it was the turning of water into wine or the raising of the dead, was a note in a grand composition. These miracles were not just isolated events, but a part of a greater cosmic plan, a plan that involved the cooperation of many divine forces, including the 72 spirits that worked through Jesus. Think of the miracle of Jesus walking on water. It wasn't just a magical act, it was a divine symphony, with each note, each force, coming together to create a perfect moment of divine manifestation. The forces of nature, the divine will, and the spirits aligned to make this moment possible. And just as Jesus was in harmony with these forces, we too can experience moments where the divine aligns with our lives. where the unseen forces work in our favor, creating miracles in our everyday existence. When we understand that the miracles of Jesus were part of a larger divine plan, we begin to see that everything in our lives is interconnected. Our struggles, our challenges, and our moments of grace are all part of a divine symphony. We are not just passive observers in our lives, we are active participants in the cosmic orchestra. The 72 spirits that worked with Jesus are still present today, ready to guide us, heal us, and help us create the miracles we seek. But to experience this divine symphony, we must be open to it. We must align ourselves with the divine energy that flows through the universe. Just as Jesus allowed these spiritual forces to work through him, we too must allow the divine to flow through us. We must trust that the universe is working in our favor, even when we cannot see the full picture. This trust is the key to unlocking the miracles in our lives. When we align ourselves with the divine, we begin to notice the subtle ways in which the universe responds. Miracles happen in ways we might not expect, but they always come when we are in harmony with the greater forces at work. The 72 spirits, the divine energies that worked through Jesus, are always present, always ready to assist us. But we must be willing to open ourselves to their presence, to align with the divine symphony that is always playing around us. Living in alignment with the divine, the transformation we seek. The power of Jesus' miracles was not in his own strength, but in his deep alignment with the divine forces that worked through him. He didn't perform miracles by sheer willpower alone. He lived in perfect harmony with the universe, and through this alignment, he was able to bring about extraordinary change in the world. This is the secret to experiencing the divine in our own lives: alignment. When we align ourselves with the divine, we open ourselves to the transformative power of the universe. We begin to notice shifts in our energy, in our perspective, and in our lives. Just as Jesus healed the sick and raised the dead, we too can experience healing and transformation when we align ourselves with the divine. The key is not in trying to control every aspect of our lives, but in trusting that the universe is working in our favor, that the divine forces are always present, guiding us toward our highest good. Living in alignment with the divine is not always easy. It requires surrender, trust, and faith. It means letting go of our need to control everything and allowing the universe to work in ways we may not understand. But it is in this surrender that we find true freedom. When we trust that the divine is always with us, always guiding us, we can experience the miracles that Jesus demonstrated. We can live in harmony with the unseen forces of the universe, allowing them to work through us to create the life we were meant to live. The lesson here is profound. We are not separate from the divine. We are a part of it. And when we align ourselves with it, we become vessels for the miracles that the universe is waiting to bring into our lives. Just as Jesus worked in perfect harmony with the 72 spirits, we too can align ourselves with the divine forces that are always at work in the world. When we do, we will experience the transformation we seek, and the miracles will follow. The 72 spirits, the divine forces that worked with Jesus, are not just part of an ancient story. They are here now, waiting for us to recognize them, to connect with them, and to allow them to work through us. When we live in alignment with these forces, we become co-creators with the divine, and the miracles that seemed impossible become our reality. The role of the divine spirits after the resurrection. The resurrection of Jesus was not merely an event of returning to life. It was the fulfillment of the divine promise and the beginning of a new reality. This moment marked a profound transformation, where the divine forces that had always accompanied Jesus were no longer merely external powers, but had become fully integrated into his being. The 72 spirits that had guided him through his earthly mission were no longer separate from him. They had become part of his very essence. The resurrection was not just about physical restoration. It was the moment when Jesus transcended earthly limitations and became one with the divine energies that had always worked through him. This was the true power of the resurrection, the ability to merge with divine forces in such a way that the impossible became possible. After his resurrection, Jesus' miracles no longer adhered to the laws of nature. He appeared to his disciples in locked rooms, walked through walls, and showed them that death had no power over him. These were not simply supernatural acts. They were manifestations of the divine energy that now flowed through him completely. Jesus was no longer bound by the physical limitations of the world. He had become a vessel fully united with the divine forces of the universe. This is a profound truth for us today. The resurrection teaches us that we too can transcend the limitations of our physical existence when we align ourselves with the divine. The 72 spirits, now integrated into Jesus' being, represent the divine forces that are available to us all. These forces are not distant. They are here, now, ready to work through us. Just as Jesus was transformed by his union with these energies, we too can experience a transformation by opening ourselves to the divine. The key is to recognize that, like Jesus, we are not separate from the divine. When we align ourselves with the energies that created the universe, we begin to transcend the limitations that hold us back. The divine partnership that existed between Jesus and the 72 spirits didn't end with his resurrection. It continued, and it continues to this day. Through the resurrection, Jesus demonstrated that we too can experience a new life, a new reality, one where the divine is fully integrated into our being. The spirits that once helped Jesus are available to us, ready to assist us in our own journey of transformation. But we must be open to them. We must invite these divine forces into our lives, just as Jesus did, and trust that they will work through us. Living in divine union, how to connect with the unseen forces today. After Jesus' resurrection, he did not just walk the earth as a man. He became a living embodiment of the divine. The 72 spirits that had worked with him were no longer external beings. They had become part of his spiritual body. This transformation is a model for us today. Through the resurrection, Jesus showed us that it is possible to live in divine union, to be so aligned with the spiritual forces of the universe that we, too, can transcend the limitations of the physical world. But what does it mean to live in divine union today? It means recognizing that we are not separate from the divine forces that created us. Just as Jesus became one with the spirits, we too can invite these energies into our lives and live in harmony with them. This requires trust. Trust that the divine energies are real, trust that they are available to us, and trust that when we align ourselves with them, we will experience transformation. The process of living in divine union begins with quieting the noise of the world and entering into the sacred space of silence. Just as Jesus entered moments of stillness before his miracles, we must also embrace the silence. In that silence, the divine energies can flow through us, aligning us with the greater spiritual reality. This is where healing happens. This is where transformation takes place. It is in the quiet moments, the sacred pauses, that we can connect with the 72 spirits and allow their energy to work through us. Living in divine union also means recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. The 72 spirits that worked with Jesus are not just isolated forces. They are part of the web of creation, and so are we. We are connected to the divine, and when we align ourselves with these spiritual forces, we become co-creators with the universe. This is not just a spiritual concept, it is a practical truth. When we live in harmony with the divine, miracles unfold. We begin to see the world differently, and the impossible becomes possible. The key to living in divine union is to trust that the divine forces are always with us. Just as Jesus trusted in the divine partnership that existed between himself and the spirits, we too must trust that we are never alone. The spirits are with us, guiding us, healing us, and helping us create the life we were meant to live. The divine partnership is not a distant concept. It is a present reality, waiting for us to step into it. When we open ourselves to the divine forces around us, we begin to see the miracles that Jesus experienced. We begin to understand that we are not alone in our journey. The 72 spirits are not just ancient beings from the past. They are alive and active in our lives today. They are waiting for us to recognize them, to align with them, and to allow them to work through us. The transformation that Jesus experienced is available to all of us. Through divine union, we can transcend the limitations of the physical world and experience the fullness of the divine. So the question we must ask ourselves is this: are we ready to step into divine union? Are we ready to align ourselves with the unseen forces that are available to us? When we do, we will experience the transformation that we have been seeking. The 72 spirits are waiting for us to recognize them, to trust in their power, and to allow them to work through us. The divine partnership is always available, always present, and always ready to transform our lives. All we have to do is open ourselves to it. The 72 spirits today, divine forces in the present moment. The 72 spirits that worked through Jesus are not confined to ancient times. They are still present today, actively working in the world, waiting for us to recognize their presence. These divine energies are not distant or inaccessible. They are as close to us as the air we breathe. The question is, do we recognize them? Do we see the divine forces that are always present, waiting to work through us? These spirits are not just historical figures or abstract ideas. They are living energies, capable of healing, protection, and transformation. They are here to guide us, to help us manifest the miracles that we seek, and to assist us in living in harmony with the divine. But we must be open to them. We must invite them into our lives, just as Jesus did, and trust that they will work through us. The 72 spirits are not a concept that belongs only to the past. They are a reality for today. They are waiting for us to step into the divine flow, to recognize their presence, and to allow them to work in our lives. When we do, we begin to experience the miracles that Jesus experienced. We begin to see the world in a new light, and we realize that we are part of a much larger divine plan, one that is always working in our favor. Living in harmony with the 72 spirits means recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. We are not separate from the divine energies that created the universe. We are part of that divine flow, and when we align ourselves with it, we experience miracles. The 72 spirits are here to guide us, to help us tap into the divine flow, and to show us how to live in harmony with the universe. As we open ourselves to the divine, we begin to see that the miracles we seek are not far away. They are here right now, waiting for us to embrace them. Just as Jesus did, we can step into the divine flow and allow the 72 spirits to work through us. The transformation we seek is already here, waiting for us to align with it. The question is, are we ready to step into the flow of divine energy and allow the miracles to unfold? As we reflect on the divine mysteries shared in this video, let's take a moment to feel the sacred energy that surrounds us all. The unseen forces that were present with Jesus, the 72 spirits, the divine energies, are not just part of an ancient history. They are here, now, in our lives, ready to help, heal, and guide us if we only open our hearts to them. Just as Jesus lived in harmony with these powerful spiritual forces, so too can we align ourselves with the divine energies that are always present, always available, waiting for us to recognize their power. These invisible forces of healing, protection, and transformation are here to assist us in overcoming challenges, healing from wounds, and manifesting the miracles that we long for. The truth is that, like Jesus, we are never alone in our journey. We are surrounded by a divine symphony of energy, a harmony of spirits that wants to help us fulfill our highest potential. When we learn to listen, to pause in the sacred silence, we allow the universe to work through us, transforming our lives in ways we might never have imagined. Perhaps, as you've watched this video, you've felt a stirring within your soul, a recognition of something greater, a whisper of divine truth. Maybe you've felt that deep connection, that gentle touch of the divine, reminding you that you are not alone. Perhaps this is the moment when you are realizing that, just like Jesus, you too can align yourself with the spiritual forces that will lead you to transformation, peace, and healing. The miracles that once seemed so distant, so impossible, are right there within your reach. I invite you, if this video has brought value to your spirit or helped you find light in the darkness, to share just a little bit of energy in return. It's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes a small contribution, a simple act of kindness or support, is all it takes to keep the light shining. Every gesture of encouragement means the world to me and helps keep these videos coming. By liking, subscribing, and sharing, you're not only supporting the channel, but also sharing this divine message with others who might be seeking the same peace, the same connection to the divine. You have the power to help someone else discover the healing that you found in this message. Your support, in any form, is a priceless gift. It is the energy that keeps this spiritual work flowing, the light that keeps guiding the way. So, as you continue on your journey, remember that you are never truly alone. The 72 spirits are always with you, ready to guide you, to heal you, to transform your life in alignment with the divine. All you need to do is open your heart and trust in their presence. If this video has touched you, if you've felt the stirrings of the divine within, I encourage you to engage with the community. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and let's keep this conversation going. Maybe you've experienced the power of these divine forces in your life, or perhaps you've seen miracles unfold in ways you never expected. Share your story, and let us lift each other up in this journey of faith, transformation, and divine alignment. Thank you, from the deepest part of my heart, for being part of this sacred space. Your energy, your support, and your presence here mean more than words can express. Together we can continue to spread this message of divine connection and transformation, one soul at a time. And as we continue to explore these profound mysteries, may you always feel the warmth and love of the divine spirit surrounding you, guiding you, and transforming you. Remember, you are not just a spectator in this journey of life. You are a co-creator with the divine. Step into the light, trust in the unseen, and know that miracles are always just around the corner. Keep walking in faith, keep living in alignment with the divine, and continue to trust that the best is yet to come. Thank you for your presence, for your energy, and for your commitment to this sacred journey. Let us move forward together in peace, love, and divine alignment.